All right, today we're jumping into one of the most powerful and complex organizations in South Asia, Pakistan's Federal Investigation Agency, the FIA. This one agency sits right at the crossroads of national security, criminal investigation, and the global fight against terrorism. So, let's find out how it all works. So, what exactly is the FIA? Well, you can think of it as this incredible hybrid powerhouse. It's Pakistan's #1 federal law enforcement agency, and it handles just a massive range of threats. We're talking everything from border control and counterintelligence to huge federal crimes like terrorism and smuggling. And get this, their official motto is honesty and integrity. It's simple, right? But it's also a really powerful statement, especially for an agency that has such a huge mandate and, as we're about to see, a really complicated history. That motto sets a very, very high bar. And yeah, that's the big question we're tackling today. I mean, how did this agency become such a key player in the global war on terror? And what kind of challenges does it face trying to balance all that immense power with public trust? Let's get into it. Okay, first up, let's rewind and go back to the very beginning. The FIA wasn't just created out of thin air. Its origins are really rooted in a super critical moment in Pakistan's history. So, the FIA was officially born in 1975. Now, this was right after the 1971 war, which was a period of just massive national upheaval. Pakistan really needed a new, powerful federal body, so the FIA was created to deal with threats to the country's stability from the inside. Things like organized crime, smuggling, and corruption that reached all levels of government. So, while the FIA started out with this domestic focus, world events were about to throw it onto the global stage. The 1990s and the rise of international terrorism, well, that would change its mission forever. This timeline just perfectly illustrates the FIA's rise on the world stage. You see, it kicks off in 1993, right after the first World Trade Center bombing. The FIA and the FBI start working together to track the mastermind, Ramzi Youssef. That partnership leads directly to his capture in Pakistan 2 years later in 1995. Then you fast forward to 2003, and the FIA's intelligence was absolutely instrumental in capturing the architect of 9/11, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. I mean, these were huge successes that really cemented the FIA's reputation as a critical international partner. So, okay, those were the high-stakes global ops that really put the FIA on the map. But what does the agency actually look like today? How is it structured to handle what is an unbelievably broad mission? The key thing to get here is that the FIA isn't just one thing. It's actually a collection of specialized departments, or wings, as you can see here. You've got the obvious one, the Counter-Terrorism wing, but then it also has wings dedicated to fighting corruption, economic crimes like money laundering, and even a top-notch cybercrime center. And as if that's not enough, it's also Pakistan's official link to Interpol. It is a massive, sprawling organization. And this table gives us a really good look at how it's all structured. You can see how the FIA's ranks are designed to mirror the national police force. For instance, an FIA director holds the same authority as a deputy inspector general of police. And the guy at the very top, the director general, is on par with the inspector general of police. This really shows you just how much power this agency has inside Pakistan's law enforcement system. But of course, with great power comes great scrutiny, right? And the FIA's history is definitely not without its share of serious controversies and criticisms, from both inside the agency and out. One of the toughest criticisms that's been leveled against the FIA is that at times it's acted like a kind of secret police. That whole reputation really comes from its history of being used for covert surveillance and operations against domestic political groups, which kind of blurs the line between national security and political enforcement. The agency has also had to deal with some serious corruption from within its own ranks. The 2005 scandal was a huge blow. An internal investigation found that agents inside the FIA's own immigration wing were directly involved in human trafficking. The agency actually had to arrest its own officers, a pretty stark reminder of how hard it can be to live up to that motto of honesty and integrity. And this is absolutely crucial to remember. The FIA isn't just the enforcer, it's also a primary target. Back in March 2008, the Pakistani Taliban launched this devastating twin suicide bombing attack right on the FIA's counter-terrorism headquarters in Lahore. This attack was a brutal reminder of the very real dangers its agents face every single day. So all of this brings us to the fundamental challenge that really defines the FIA today, this constant, difficult balancing act between the massive demands of national security and the absolute need to maintain public trust. This is a direct quote from the current Director General of the FIA, Rafat Mukhtar Raja. It's basically a public statement that acknowledges this exact problem. The emphasis here on transparency and the rule of law is the agency's official answer to its critics and a public promise to be held accountable. And so the story of the FIA really leaves us with this universal and pretty provocative question. It's a dilemma that nations all over the world are grappling with. How do you build an agency that's powerful enough to stop terrorists and major criminals without stepping on the very freedoms it's supposed to be protecting? There are no easy answers, and that question remains at the very heart of the FIA's ongoing mission.